All right, guys, welcome to the Family First Life Titans team training call. Super excited about today's guest. We got Sean Ruggiero on here right now. Sean, do we got you? Can you hear me okay? Oh, he's muted. Hold on a second, Sean. Let me get you unmuted.
All right, I'm not used to not being able to mute or unmute my conversation with Navy there. So, but I'm here, and I'm happy to be here. Thank you, Tyler.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for taking time to get on here. Can you guys hear okay? Sounded like Sean was cutting out a bit. Hey, Sean, can you hear me okay?
Tyler, you're having trouble hearing me?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, let me exit and enter back in. Sometimes that fixes it, okay?
Okay, cool. All right, guys. There you go. Are you back? Sean,
Okay, can you hear me?
yes.
All right.
Cool. Well, thanks for getting on, my man. Appreciate you. All you guys do, all you do. I wanted to get you on here because I've always appreciated what you've done and kind of the value that you bring to clients. You know, obviously you've sold a lot of simplified issued life insurance, right? But you've gotten into you've always been in the advanced market stuff and providing more value, and also providing more value as a producer, right? So if you can, for people that may not know who you are, can you just kind of share who you are, kind of what you do, your background, and what's got you here?
Yeah, so Sean Ruggiero, I hail from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. I'm originally from Seattle, Washington. I'm one of the co-founders of Family First Life. We started the business in December of 2013. And in the initial stages, Sean and I worked for a different IMO. And he had an ingenious plan, a plan to, I say this with a little bit of hyperbole, but it really is accurate. He was going to set people free, and everything we came from, comp was low. You got charged for training. You got charged for showing up. And it was a bit of a racket. And he says, this is messed up. We need to be in a system where we make money when agents make money. And he started Family First Life. Now, at the same time, I was going to start something called an FMO, a financial marketing organization, because I focused more on what we call the advanced markets. And we said, let's work together. So we did that. We've run everything under Family First Life. Fast forward 8 years, it's now part of Integrity. And I sit here as a managing partner for Integrity Marketing Group, headquartered out of Dallas, Texas. I have sold final expense, mortgage protection, general life insurance leads. I have sat in trailers with people who smell like urine, with dogs that have so much hair coming off them, I don't understand how they would have any hair left on their body, with people who tell me they don't smoke when it smells like a Marlboro commercial. I've had huge policies, $5,000 AP policies that I drove 4 hours for, and 2 hours on the way back, I got a call that says we want to hold off. And I was in a restaurant and felt like quitting. I mean, I've done everything that you all are doing. And I gravitated, Tyler, towards the advanced markets, not in lieu of the mortgage protection final expense, but an enhancement of. Because at the end of the day, when you're sitting down with someone, you're sitting down with a human being. So I see Chris Laban there. If Chris Laban filled out a mortgage protection lead, and I sat down and I only treated Chris Laban like a mortgage protection lead, I'm missing out not only on protecting him and his family in other ways, but also in utilizing my license, because my license is a life insurance agent, and I carry other licenses. I carry a securities license, but I'm not referring to that. I'm referring to the same license that you have. I can help Chris protect his human capital with life insurance, but also protect his financial capital with fixed index annuities, and even create financial capital with index universal life. So what I teach here comes from experience, and what I teach here really has to do with a simple approach of making sure you thoroughly use your license, you thoroughly ask questions, and you thoroughly help people out every time you sit down with them.
Sure. Love that, man. So I've always respected and appreciated you from the beginning when I first got involved with Family First Life, right? We do a lot of simplified issued, but you always you inspired me a lot to learn more about the industry. And I mean, the simplified issue is just such a small fraction of what's out there, right? When you can service clients in so many different ways, utilizing the license, and you're helping a lot of people in a lot of different ways, but obviously there is a financial upside on the other side too, when we're talking about the FIA or IULs and things like that. So could I kind of want you to talk about a couple of different things, but the first thing, if you're a brand new agent or someone that has not really thought much about it, we sit with clients every day that they do have opportunities where we're just missing out on because we don't understand the language or the simple concepts to get the conversation started. Could you hit on a couple of those, just to kind of get, someone that's maybe brand new into this, just to kind of get them thinking about it and maybe uncovering some of these scenarios? That makes sense.
It does. And I'll answer it in a slightly different way. If you were selling cars, okay, and let me deviate for a second. This is not lip service. What we do is pretty cool. It's not easy. It's simple, but it's not easy. And if you look at it, every person you sell something to, they will make more money than what they paid for it. And track what I'm saying there. So I respect car salesmen. I respect people who sell books. I mean, books are a good thing, right? You could find someone who could vilify the idea of buying or selling books. How about people who sell vacations? How about people who sell shoes? I need shoes, right? In any of those instances, when someone buys something from you, it's going to cost them money, and that is going to leave them in a worse financial position. I'm saying that agnostically. Okay. You have the position of selling them something, and then they will have more money than before. And that's a unique position. So if the proper path of a life insurance policy is, like we don't sell too many life insurance policies. Occasionally, like a guaranteed policy, someone who's really, really high in the mortality charts. Yeah, they could end up paying as much as the policy's worth. But for the vast majority of the policies you sell, the premium they put in is going to be eclipsed by what comes out. And you sold that, right? So with an annuity, what they get out eventually is going to be worth more than what they put in, and you sold that. So I think for me, I like that part of the business. And I think people take that for granted. I think they feel like because we don't go to college and have insurance sales majors, right, that we feel like this is a fallback. And it is for a certain extent, just because of the way that we train in it. But it is a very respectable profession. And I think you should take a lot of pride in that. So I wanted to segue that really quick and say, okay, so now you're in the field, you're there to help someone. And this is a very difficult business to be half-assed with, right? If you aren't proud of being an insurance agent or an insurance advisor, if you're not proud of protecting people's human capital and financial capital, you need to find a different business. But if you're here, you're committed, and you're proud of it, then you have to ask yourself, do I want to use part of my license or all of it? Do I want to protect people partially or wholly? And I'm obviously, these are rhetorical questions. You want to do everything. And if you're a brand new agent, it's not easy. It's simple, but it's not easy. And so if you have a chance, and I said to you, I said, Tyler, you're getting into this business, right? And we could glorify all these different things, but at the end of the day, you have to make money and you have to feed your family and you have to survive. You've got about a 90-day window to make this work. So do you want your success rate to be X, or do you want it to be X times 3? And again, a rhetorical question, you'd want it to be X times 3. What am I getting at? From day one, you must ask the questions I teach so you can use all of your license. I remember sitting down, my first final expense appointment, Matt Smith taught me, and it took about a minute and a half for him to explain how to sell it. And I kind of winged it from there. Like, it's not real complicated. All right. Catherine Thompson, let's say she's 72 years old. She's a smoker. Right. And I was, okay, how's this work? Hey, Catherine, we can get you $10,000 of tax-free level death benefit that will expire when you expire for $180 a month. Sign here. Right. I mean, that's a final expense sale. It's very simple. Mortgage protection, I think it took me 3 minutes to understand that. But we sometimes as agents and sometimes as managers, which is why I applaud you having me exposed to your team, we sometimes act like it's so freaking complicated in the advanced markets that you got to ease into it. But that's the worst thing you can do. You've got that finite period of time. You've got 90 days that you better start making some money. And that might even be long. Maybe it's 60 days. You better start having some success or you're going to be out of the industry. And most of the time it's because people aren't great. Hey, Kiefer, how you doing? And most of the time it's because people aren't great at being self-employed. But exclude those people. There's a lot of agents out there who just haven't been told or encouraged that they can go out there and use all of their license. So how do you do that? You ask questions. So every person you sit with from day one, you need to ask them questions, ask them the golden questions. So Tyler, if I was sitting down with you, whether you're mortgage protection or final expense, I've been told to ask the questions for health, for income, for medications, and those are valid. You got to have those. I've also been told how to present the product and how to sell or price it. But in that presentation, I have to force myself and commit myself to saying, Tyler, do you have anything that acts like insurance? I mean, can you be self-insured in any way? And when you say yes or no, I just unlock the other quadrants. I just unlock the annuity and IUL opportunities. So if you were a mortgage protection client and you said, no, Sean, I'm 20 something years old. Sorry, man, I don't have a 401k. I don't have anything that acts like insurance. That's why I'm filling out this form. I say, great, no problem. Now, to Kiefer's point, okay, goes back to our dinner. You don't stop your appointment right there and attempt to sell an index universal life or an annuity. All right. For the record, Kiefer, I have changed my training and I make it explicitly clear that you don't do that. Okay. Because you're a top agent. And if you thought that might be the case, then there's others that think that. So I have corrected that. You proceed with this. So Tyler, I continue to go on and I sell you an America HMS cashback policy and your mortgage is now protected, right? But then upon the conclusion of that, I simply say, hey, Tyler, when you said that you weren't self-insured, have you ever considered using an IUL to supplement your retirement? Right? See, right there, who couldn't memorize that question? Now, do I then open up my laptop and start getting out carriers and products and talk about rates of return? No, I'm a brand new agent. I don't even know like how to get to my next appointment, much less run an IUL illustration. So that's what we're here for. That's what a lot of people don't understand. That's what we're here for. You simply tell them, I will be back next week and I will show you how that works. Now, in your mind, you're thinking, I have no clue how it works. This is literally the third appointment I've run in my life. But don't be afraid, right? And for me, there's afraid and then there's scared. We're all afraid, but scared is when you act on that. Scared is when you don't commit to push forward. Hell, I think my biggest motivator in life is being afraid. I'm afraid every day. Sean Mike's on the East Coast. He wakes up really early. I'm afraid that he is going to call at 2 a.m. like he does every third day, right? But I'm not scared. I'm not going to turn my phone off. I'm not going to hide from it. right? You've got to push through. So what I'm getting at is you simply ask the golden question, and you force yourself to ask the golden question every single time you sit down with a client, even when you're a brand new agent. And the golden question, just quick review, is do you have anything that acts like insurance? Like a 401k, an IRA, something that would go over to your loved ones if you die. It's like being self-insured. They're going to say yes or they're going to say no. It's the golden question, because either way, it's a good answer. If they say yes, we say, is that money protected? Now, again, we don't do it right there in the middle of the appointment. At the end of the appointment, we say, hey, in regards, Tyler, to that, you said you had an old 401k from your old job, about $45,000. Is that money protected? See, if I've done my job and I've established rapport with Tyler, he's going to actually hear my question. And the questions are designed to evoke an answer of, I don't know, that's a good question, right? So when I do that, I then set an appointment for the following week at the same time. I call it the haystacks. I just made another appointment. That's all it is. I'm not emotionally attached to it. I'm not counting my money. I'm not doing anything other than setting an appointment. I then log into the ILC, the Integrity Lead Center. I click on the Ask a Specialist, and I give them as much information as I have. Maybe Tyler gave me a lot of information. He told me all about it, and I'm typing that in. Maybe he gave me very little information. In fact, I'm guessing how much it is. I just know his age, his health, his state, and that he does have a 401k with something like $100,000 in it. It doesn't matter. Our team is going to get back to you, and they're going to show you the carrier, the product, the illustrations. They're going to give you a narration specific to your scenario. They're going to give you 2 or 3 videos for you to watch that are specific to selling that. You can pause them, rewind them, stop them, right? And you've got to commit to 2 things. One, commit to spending some time doing that, right? Like if every advanced market appointment took 3 hours of preparation, I could see why people wouldn't do it, but that's not the case. But your first one, remember, you went from 0 to being an expert in annuities. Your first one, you're probably going to have to brush up on it, right? But that is that is an investment that diminishes as far as how much you have to invest later on. So then the second appointment you run, you might have to just touch up on. Third appointment, trust me, these things aren't rocket science. They're actually quite easy. So you just have to ask yourself, do I want to succeed in this business or not? And if I do, then when I ask the golden question and when I submit an Ask a Specialist and I get something in return, dag nabbit, I am going to learn it as best I can. And here's the second thing you need to commit to. Be willing to fail. Be willing to suck, right? My second son, Tyson, I've got 3 boys and then a baby girl. She's perfect, so I can't use her for any analogies other than if something's perfect. But for my second son, he's a lot like me. He hates being wrong. He hates looking stupid, right? It has something to do with my psyche. I just can't stand it. So for me, I prepare like crazy. But regardless if you're me or if you're someone that's like, I'm okay looking stupid, it doesn't matter. My point is this: you're not going to be great your very first one. Chris, you go into that house and you're stumbling, whatever. You think, man, I'm not doing really well. I don't remember what that video said. Do the best you can. That's all that matters. All right. And in doing that, you're planting the seed for your success. If we had that 90-day window, let's say you spent the first 3 weeks screwing up these appointments. But by the next 3 weeks, these aren't going to be as screwed up. You start to figure them out. It's not learning a foreign language. It's not advanced calculus. It's really easy because it's common sense. Tyler, and if I can brag on you just a little bit, I look every day at the issue sheets and I saw Tyler's name come up. I said, well, that's serendipity. That's funny. We have a call today. $120,000. I'm rounding up by a few $100. $120,000 annuity issue. If we do average commission, that's about 7,000 and some change. I said, hey, I texted him, good job, congratulations. And Tyler then said, yeah, I got 2 more for another couple 100,000 or 180. I don't want to embellish, right? Do you see my point? In the midst of all this, I mean, come on, like the simplified issue game can be very much 2 steps forward, 1 step back, right? You're pushing, you're clawing. I remember Matt Smith. He was really my sales mentor getting into that game. I was bragging about my persistency. I was like 89, 90%. He says, well, that means you're not pushing hard enough. You need to push harder. And he was right. The final expense game is like that, right? You got to push. There's someone who cancels it a week later, cancels it 2 weeks later. And that's just hitting you in the jaw and saying, hey, you got to keep going. The average, get this, the average persistency rate across the board for our IULs, 94%. It might be a little harder work up front, but 94% retention. Annuities is up there also. Annuities is 96, 97%. So you have to ask yourself, if I really want to survive in this industry, do I want to use some of my license or all of my license? Do I want to represent a few products or all products? Do I want to come into a home and just protect part of them or all of them? These are rhetorical questions because the answer is obvious. So what's the holdup? Why would someone not do it? Well, there's two reasons. One, their manager or upline told them not to. If that's the case, they're wrong, ignore them. Two, you're intimidated, right? You're intimidated. I've been there. You're intimidated, and you're intimidated to go through like you don't want the appointment to be any longer. You don't want to talk about stuff you don't know. Heck, the whole thing is stressful. What I'm telling you is it's always going to be that way when you're on the learning curve. Expose yourself to it early, commit to it, be determined to do it. And then that learning curve will include the annuities and the IULs. Tyler, does that make sense?
Yeah, complete sense. I just want to say something too, because at first, like when we first started talking about this, I remember I had a scenario where I had no idea I just uncovered it. Right. It was a $20 Facebook lead. I had a campaign going. I get there, client currently had cancer, so she'd be in a 2-year waiting policy, was $80 a month. It didn't make sense for her. Asked the question, do you have anything else that acts like life insurance that would pass probate free to a beneficiary, right? Any 401 IRA, inheritance? And she goes, well, actually, my dad passed away about 3 months ago, and he left about 350,000, and I've been looking for something to do with it. And I just explained, I was like, well, what are you looking for? She's like, I don't want to lose. I want to make money, but I do not want to lose any principal. And I say, well, that's what these index annuities can offer. And that's what I did is I ran it by the team, came back with an option, booked an appointment for the next week, went back out, and we ended up moving about, I think it was like 200. Right. And you can do the math on the numbers there, but that was just by me asking a question to somebody that I wasn't able to sell life insurance to. Right. And now, we just got, the annual statement, and she's doing well in the account. Right. And she's not prone to market loss, but again, like, you don't have to know everything, but I also give a tremendous amount of credit to you, Sean, and your team, because, like the last couple of cases that I just wrote, right, they all came through you guys, and you guys came back, because I'm not a securities license. I'm not a financial planner. I don't have that background. That's what you guys are there for. Right. And you guys take into account everything, make sure it's best for the client scenario. And you guys came back with options, and I went over there and showed it, and they're like, this makes complete sense. Let's do it. Right. But again, you don't have to know everything. We're sitting in front of so many people that if we just open our eyes and just start asking some of these questions, you'll learn as you go too. Right. And there's so much training out there, which you guys have with, the AMS. And I mean, it's just trust with what Sean's saying, and use their team and just learn step by step in this industry. So appreciate that, Sean.
Yeah. And let me comment about something you had mentioned. So I have a securities license. I own an RIA. I've done assets under management. So understand how that game gets played. All right. AUM, assets under management, is you get a percentage of it that you charge each year. And I'm speaking on the 65 side, on the RIA side. And that's the same on the broker dealer side. They can get some commissions, but that side is coming under some scrutiny, some pressure, because they don't have to do what's in the best interest of the client. I'm a fiduciary. I have to do what's in the best interest. So if I ran into someone, Tyler, who had let's say Austin has $180,000 to invest. Okay. I get probably a little less than 1%, like 85 bips a year to manage that. So let's round it up to like $1,500. Okay. $1,500, and I got to handle all of Austin's questions. And you know how the market's dropping, and we're now in a bear market, and it's dropped 20% since its high earlier this year, right? Like Austin's calling me, what should I do? What, right? There's a lot of management to that. And I'm going to do that for $1,400 a year, $1,500 a year? No way. In fact, if you run into financial advisors, many of them, Raymond James, Fisher Investments, you have to have a minimum of $500,000. They're out there fishing for the people who have a lot of money. Why? Because then they can make some good money. And that's where you probably need some more complex solutions. When you start talking about timing of capital gains tax or harvesting losses, stuff that you all never have to worry about. Okay. What I'm talking about is you'll run into a $1 million annuity once every so often, twice in a career, $2 million annuity, $3 million annuity, and I'll explain that. But for the most part, you serve the underserved. There is no financial advisor beat down their door. Will the financial advisor give them a courtesy call when they go to move the money? Yes. Will they shit on annuities? Yes. Will they shit on IULs? Yes, they will. But they don't really care. You care. And it's consequential. So I'm gonna talk to you about the 3 things to memorize, and you are now an absolute expert. You stay in your lane with this, and you will never get frustrated because you're not a securities advisor. You're not a financial advisor. You can't talk to them about rates of return. You're not trying to pick the best stock. The questions that you get come from ignorance. Trust me. They ask stupid questions because they don't know what they're talking about. The clients, right? So you direct them. So here's it, plain and simple. Fixed index annuities or annuities in general do this. 1, they eliminate all market loss. Okay, so Mr. Smith, Mrs. Smith, you'll sleep well at night because you'll never lose money in the market again. And be visceral, right? Are they a CNN watcher or are they a Fox News, right? Okay, when you're watching Fox News and you see that the market's tanking, you never have to worry about that. That'd be a pretty good feeling, right? In light of what's going on now, in light of pandemics and war in Europe, and hell, what if a tsunami comes and hits California? And that sounds funny. It sounds, again, like hyperbole, but it's not. The market is very vulnerable. You will never have to worry about it for the rest of your life. And you're talking to clients 50, 60 years old. Hell, people are living a long time now. Do you think you can just magically wave something and for the next 3 decades, you're never going to have a financial calamity in the market? That's foolhardy. So a fixed index annuity, first and foremost, eliminates all market loss. You sleep well at night. Second, it participates in market gains. So unlike other safe investments, right? Kiefer can take her money and stick it in a CD or maybe in a safe or whatever, but it's not going to earn the interest. A fixed index annuity participates in market gains. Now, you want to alleviate a lot of pressure on yourself. Don't ever tout that it's going to beat the market because it's not. Right? Hey, absolutely. If the market goes down and your fixed index annuity stays the same, and then the market goes up and your annuity goes up, yes, it can beat the market for a day or for a year or 2-year period, but take the pressure off yourself. Don't ever try to tell someone you're selling something that's smarter than the market. Clients want safety, right? If Chris is 60 years old and he's got $180,000, it might not seem like much. We've got managing partners who buy cars that are that expensive. But that represents 40 damn years of Chris's work. Do you think he's ready for that thing to dissipate and lose 20 grand, 30 grand, 40 grand in a week? Absolutely not. So what you have is extremely valuable. Believe in it. You're going to eliminate market loss, but then when the market comes back, you can participate in those gains. So if the market goes up 20%, Chris, and you got 10, you'd be pretty stoked, knowing that if the market went down 20%, you'd lose nothing. And I just correctly explained what an FIA does. And then the final thing is this, since it is still an annuity, FIA is fixed index annuity, you can convert it to a guaranteed paycheck for life, for you, your spouse, however you want to carve it up. And only annuities can do that. So if you memorize that, Tyler, you could hold your own with anybody, right? You could hold your the head of Fisher Investments could sit there and say annuities they're stupid and whatever. Say, you know what? Here's why we sell them. First, they eliminate all market loss. Our clients sleep well at night. Second, they participate in market gains. We never claim that they beat the market. We never claim that they get all the gains, but they participate. So we have years where we're getting double-digit returns when the market is going up. And third, since it is an annuity and only annuities can do this, we can create a guaranteed paycheck for life. So you see how powerful that is, right? It takes so much stress off of you. And let me add one more thing to that. If that person isn't interested, if you're Kiefer out there and you're running 600 grand of life insurance business a year, you're busy. You don't have time to waste. That's one of Kiefer's fears, is that she's going to get held up and gridlocked with this annuity appointment that she's not totally comprehending yet, right? And it's going to take away from her other business. So my point is this: get really good at asking the golden question, get really good at saying what they do. And if they're interested, Kiefer, absolutely schedule an appointment for the next week, be efficient with it. If they're hemming and hawing or saying, I got to think about it, say, you can think about it with someone else. I'm out of here. And I'm being a little bit funny, a little bit facetious, but that's how you got to act. There's plenty of people out there. And when you see the volume of people that Kiefer sees, when you see the volume of people that Stephen Giordano sees, right? Then asking that question every time, understanding what the power of protecting their financial assets, the right people are going to fall in place. And Tyler, you're seeing it, right? Tyler's going to finish with $100,000 of extra deposits over the last 12 months because he asked that question. And that's not even talking about IULs yet.
Yep. That's why we got you here, man. I appreciate you. Quick question. So can you simplify, like, when you're talking about an FIA versus an IUL scenario? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, let's talk about when are you looking for an FIA scenario, but then also an IUL scenario? What are your typical, parameters? When are the right times to pull them out?
So they kind of sort themselves out. It all spawns from the golden question. What do you have that acts like insurance, right? Are you self-insured? If they say, yes, I do have something, I've got an old 401k, we're looking at an annuity. Okay. If they say, no, I don't, we're looking at an IUL. It's that simple. Now, what overlays that is it usually lines up with age, right? Tyler, you might be independently wealthy or have a bunch of money you inherited or sold a business or a house, but most people your age, they got a lot of human capital, they don't have a lot of financial capital. So anticipate that when you're running with younger people, you're going to be selling more IULs, right? So when I ask the golden question, hey, Tyler, do you have anything that acts like insurance, like a 401k, an IRA? He's like, dude, I'm 20 years old, right? No, I don't. No, I understand. I get it. And then I finish the appointment and then I come back to it and say, hey, Tyler, in regards to retirement, the fact that you don't have a 401k, that's very common. There's almost no pensions out there anymore. Defined contribution plans or 401ks are harder and harder to find. And we're not even getting matches in many cases. Have you considered an IUL to supplement your retirement? And if I've done my job, you're going to say something like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Hey, I don't have time now. Tyler, I'll meet you again next week. I go to ask a specialist, I submit it, they're going to send me everything back. And then you're going to watch a video, right? Watch it 2 or 3 times, invest that 1 hour in your freaking career, right? And now you're like, I kind of get this. Like, this makes sense to me. And I'm going to come back the next week. I'm going to say, all right, Tyler. So, and use our team. Say, we have a group, a corporate office that looks at all these scenarios. Here's what they did. They took a look and they said that Fidelity and Guarantee, an A-rated company, and all you're doing is reading what we told you. Fidelity and Guarantee, an A-rated company, has a really good product that will allow you to put $500 a month away, grow it, cover you with a death benefit, and then at age 65, you can take out money tax-free. In fact, I ran the math. You're projected to be able to take out over $100,000 tax-free in your retirement. And there you go. I'm selling an IUL just like that. So they usually solve themselves. The golden question there is to tell you which way to go. Do I go for an annuity or do I go for an IUL? Well, it depends if they say yes or no to the golden question.
Reps, getting out, seeing up people, not afraid to fail, right?
Yep.
And that's one of your analogies you used about just if someone's not interested, move on, right? Don't play the game of trying to go back and forth, because it's not a little monthly premium. It's like if someone's wanting to do it, they're going to do it. And if they're going to want to do it with someone that's not all up in their space, right? They're going to do it or they're not. Sean, because obviously what's happening now, we're seeing a lot of telesales, right? People are selling all over the country, all over the phone, things like that. What have you seen, or do you have any advice, recommendations for uncovering things? I mean, ask the same question over the phone. That doesn't change. But in terms of really like building credibility over the phone in that regard, to get someone to be open about having a conversation like we're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, we prepared for that. So you still have to ask the question. So if I'm on a Zoom call or I'm on the phone, and you do that for volume, right? You do that for volume. You don't have to drive around. You can do it over the phone. It doesn't mean you're going to be as effective. You might not have quite the prowess or build as much rapport. Who cares? It's volume. You still ask the golden question. So make sure that your script has the golden question in it. Okay. So if it doesn't, send it over to me. I'll share with you scripts that we have. I can tweak your script, but make sure it has the golden question in it. Upon conclusion of your meeting, whether you're successful or not successful, come back to the golden question. All right. Austin, you said that you did not have any retirement or anything that acts like insurance, no 401k or an IRA. Have you ever considered an IUL to supplement your retirement? Okay. So here's what we've done now. We have 2 videos that I host. I stand up in front of a camera in a suit with a background and slides, and I send them, say, Austin, you say, I'm going to send you a 10-minute video from one of our founders. He's a financial advisor, and he's going to talk to you about the benefits of an IUL for retirement. So you send them my video. And in the video, I tell them to refer back. Now, if you send out 100 of them, there might be 4 or 5 people that literally proactively would come back to you. But if you send it out and then follow up with them, hey, did you get a chance to watch the video? I'd love to set up another appointment. Then there's going to be 5 or 6 more. Your penetration might not be great, but you're out nothing. You're out, what, 2 emails? And I do the presentation for them. If they say I was really excited about that. I really liked what he said about the tax-free income or the long-term care. I had to take care of a sick aunt who had dementia, and it threw our whole lives out of whack. Can I learn more about that? You got 2 choices, do it or not do it. We're trying to make it as simple as possible. And if you do it, you will have some people interested and you will sell some, right? Does that make sense? So I will send you, these are unlisted YouTube links so they can be viewed by the public. The comments are turned off, right? If you remind me, I will send you those links so your team has those. Okay, Tyler?
Absolutely. Closing thoughts. I mean, see, I know we got the Ask a Specialist insurance strip, right? The thing that you created there. Do you have any other sort of marketing ways that we can get ourselves in more situations? Obviously, simplified issued leads that we run, right? But also in just different ways to market ourselves, different people to talk to. I mean, anything like that could, help anybody on this call.
Yeah, part of it is being creative. We do have one other resource, which is a very good one. The FIAbenefits.com, FIAbenefits.com. That is videos with graphics by myself and Tom Hegna. Tom Hegna is a renowned retirement specialist, a host of the PBS show, Don't Worry, Retire Happy, seen in over 80 million homes in North America. So it has some serious clout. That's a good resource. But what I suggest is this, those 3 things I talked about, the FIA benefits, the video I'm going to send you, you would be shocked at how much you would learn if you just watch those once or twice. You invested an hour and 18 minutes of your time, and all of a sudden you kind of get it. And so you can come up with your own creative ways. Posting on social media is great. We can use insurance strip. We can do email blasts. All those things are available to you. So if you don't have your insurance strip account set up, I would advise that you set it up. And then the one last thing is I'll share my screen real quick. Okay. If you go to fflams.com, make sure you're registered. But these are a fantastic tool. This is order your brochures. We have them for IUL and we have them for annuity. So some of us, it's like we want to look like we're more professional. We want to look like we know what we're talking about. This is a great way to market yourself. So if we look at this quad fold, right, it'll take your picture, it'll take your logo, it'll take your contact information, and they'll digitally print. So if you want to have, and this goes straight from the printer. So the new quad fold, that 7 benefits is in there. We can do the same thing for IULs, right? This IUL one is customizable. So look at those. You can also download them. So you don't have to print them out. If you want them, if you don't want them customized, you can download them. But these are fantastic tools. So you can hand these out to clients. This one's talking about guaranteeing safe growth and income. The other one's talking about the 7 benefits of FIAs, et cetera. So that's another tool that you can use. That here's okay. And if this sounds a bit harsh, just understand where I'm coming from. I was talking to Sean this morning, and I saw the reports that came out from LIMRA. Insurance premium sales in 2021 were the highest that they've been per capita since 1983. A lot of you all weren't even born. Since 1983, we are setting records. Primerica grew by 18%. WFG grew by 20-something%. Bankers Life grew. You know, the one thing that a lot of those groups do better than we do, market themselves. Leads are awesome. I would never work without a lead platform, but it's not everything. Market yourself to your current clients, market yourself to people you know, join a networking group, get away from behind the computer every once in a while. You still got to put in your time, right? Remember when I said that most people fail in this business because they're just bad at being self-employed, right? My guess is Kiefer writes a lot of business because she takes it seriously, because she puts in the time on the phone and she puts in the hours. And if you ran it out, Kiefer, how many hours do you think you work a week? Honestly, are you 30? Are you 40? Are you 50? Oh, she's muted, right?
Let me mute her. I want to hear her answer. Keep her. Can you unmute?
I honestly don't even know. I don't even think I have a number for it. I would probably say more than all that. Just don't work on Sundays. It's the only day I don't work.
So how many hours? 80? 60?
Yeah, do some math. I don't know.
Let's do the math. I want to hear.
Well, my first one's at 8. So like 8 to 8, it's like 12 hours. Well, I'd say like 70 to 80.
Yeah. And that's about how many hours I still work, right? Maybe 60. So someone who's successful, right? And I appreciate that, Kiefer, because a lot of people aren't willing to do that. A lot of people, okay, so maybe they don't need to write $600,000 or $700,000. Hell, they'd be happy if they could get 200,000. Well, if we do deductive math, then cut that in thirds. They should be able to do $200,000 in 20 hours a week, right? See, you don't have to write 600 or 700K to consider yourself in the business, but every single time when we find someone who's failing, it's because they're not working hard enough. Okay. And so I'm using Kiefer. We didn't script this out. I mean, obviously I was off with her hours and she was muted and, we're having our technical challenges, but my point is this, I asked her point blank and I could go across the board of people who are successful, how much time they put in. And what's funny is as they get better and better, I'll reference Matt Smith again, Mark Mead. I'm kind of an old school generation 1 person. They probably got to a point where for 30 hours a week, they could really crush it. They could really crush it. And if they poured in 60, 70, they were going to be $1 million producer. They're going to be like Kiefer, like just absolutely go bonkers with it. And so my point is this, if it has to do with work, then attack the work. The advanced markets is no different, right? If you say, well, I have no leads to call, I'm not going to do any work, market yourself. Did you know that you can download your client list? Why don't you download your client list, or why don't you download your upline's client list and call each one of them and ask them if their retirement is protected, right? And we have other ones. Tyler, I've sent you information about long-term care. Do you have any long-term care coverage? The answer is going to be no, almost universally. Well, we do have alternatives that we can use. I'll schedule a time to sit down and meet with you. And I have a whole presentation on how you can take someone's, you can sell life insurance and use the living benefits. You all know how to do that. Or you can take an annuity and sell the 4Care annuity, which has long-term care benefits built in. So it's really comes down to work, Tyler. You got to work and just add this as something else. And in fact, I think it's some diversification. You know, one of the things that Kiefer's probably programmed with is she has the ability to do the mundane over and over again, and she can keep going. For a lot of people, that is very difficult to do, on top of the fact that they don't want to work 50, 60 hours a week, right? So diversify, take pride in what you're doing. Paul McLean said it really well in this morning's AMS call. He felt good about himself, right? He felt good about himself. He felt a little bit more sophisticated. He could hold a conversation. You might sit there, talk to your uncle at the Christmas party, and he's a financial planner. And he says, what do you do? Well, I'm an insurance salesperson. I protect people's human and financial capital. That sounds kind of sophisticated, right? I'm proud of that. Well, I protect human capital with life insurance. We pay out a tax-free death benefit. We try to find something that fits their budget, fits their lifestyle, fits their need. And then with financial capital, we use primarily something called an FIA, or fixed index annuity. And you can explain the three things that does. So have pride in that. You know, it's like if you're going to do it all in and work hard. So Tyler, I'm preaching a little bit now, but hopefully that answers the question. And Kiefer, thank you.
Appreciate you, man. Let me see. Okay. No, that's awesome, Sean. Thank you so much for getting on here. I don't think anybody's got anything else. Is there anything else that you'd want to throw in? I mean, you poured into us, you laid a lot out there, but anything else?
Any questions I can answer? I'm happy to answer questions.
All right, type in the chat box and I can know it on mute.
Here, I can look in here too.
Oh, cool.
Actually, yeah, everyone has, will you all do this? Here's my email. This is my personal email. Actually, no, that would be stupid. I mean, I'll give you my email. I don't care about that, but it might get help. So if you want a copy of my book, everyone's talking about my book, email info@fflams.com. And as a present to you, Tyler, and to your group here, and I will mail you a free copy of the book. Okay. But if you're not registered at FFLAMS.com, I would make sure you do that. Download those brochures, watch the resources that we're talking to. And yeah, and Lee Kendrick's retiring now because of us. So there you go. He has a $2 million 403B. I imagine he's going to use National Life Group on that. So that's an excellent testimony right there. So email your address, your mailing address, and your name to info@FFLAMS. My gift to you is I'll send you a free copy of the book, and make sure everybody's registered the FFLAMS.com website. And don't shy away, Tyler, right? Don't shy away. You all are too smart, okay? Don't shy away from learning and using all of your license, okay? And if you're not going to do it for you, do it for someone else, right? I talked about this before. I'll mention it one more time. You know, they interviewed those that did live, not the posthumous awardees or recipients of the Medal of Honor. Those that lived, some of them do live and receive the Medal of Honor, and everyone's familiar with the Medal of Honor is. And I'm not glorifying war. Please understand that war is a terrible thing. But they asked them why they did what they did. Why did they charge the pillbox? Why did they carry someone across 300 yards of enemy fire? And it wasn't for their country. It wasn't for their flag. It wasn't for their God. It was for the person next to them, right? And so who are you doing this for, right? Kiefer, you're newly engaged or to get married, right? Like, you all are a team. You know what I'm saying? There's gonna be times that you don't want to do that. You're doing it for your team. You're doing it for your kids coming up, right? And there's people out there who have spouses. There's people out there who have children. My God, when you have children, trust me, there's the people that say I'd do anything, and then there's the people that will do something about it. Well, here's the deal. You don't have to go kill someone, right? You don't have to go fight for your money. You don't have to go trudge through a third world country and the impoverishment and guerrilla warfare and civil war and all this stuff that so many people in this world have to deal. All you got to do is pick up the phone and dial. All you got to do is watch some videos on how to sell an FIA, and then have the humility to know that what we do is just great, and it's not going to be for everyone. Don't take it personally. I'm 46 years old and I'm still working on not taking stuff personally, but I'm getting there. Right? So someone, Tyler, you can tell me no, you can tell me to F off. And I kind of got to just roll with the punches and move on, because I'm not doing it for me. I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it for my kids. Right? So push through, make the most of this. This is the best job in the world if you do it right. And a lot of it's not the tactics of saying the right thing or having the right marketing piece. A lot of it is just having the right mindset that I'm going to push through and I'm okay screwing up. And Sean Mike talks about this a lot. People like people who are real, right? And if you screw up, or if you say, gosh, you know what? I don't know. Fortunately, we have a corporate office that backs us up on this. I'm going to ask them and I'll get back to you. Okay. Right. Just be willing to go out there, because when we protect ourselves so much from failure, we're also protecting ourselves from success. And we don't want to do that.
Sean Ruggiero, everybody. The man. Cool.
All right.
Appreciate you, man. Well,
absolutely. Send me those addresses. We'll get the books out. You need anything, let me know. Okay.
You got it, man. Appreciate you guys.
Right. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.